Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you probably noticed in the thumbnail, or you can hear the little noises behind me, we got chickens and I'm really excited to share it with you guys and share our chicken journey. If you guys are excited for this video or just love chickens, give it a big old thumbs up, and if you haven't joined the pack yet, make sure you subscribe down below. So for the longest time, my husband and I got married. I was like, there's no way, I'm not an outdoors person. I'm never gonna get on a farm or chickens or anything like that. 5 years later down the road, I live in a semi-rural area. I have 2 dogs, a cat, and for some reason, I decided to take an interest in chickens. I started looking around on the internet and I talked to one of my friends and found out that chickens are really one of the most low maintenance kind of pets you can have, and kind of all that goes into them. So I started down the rabbit hole of YouTube for about 2 weeks on researching chickens and what do they need, what do I have to buy, how hard is it to take care of them, and now we own 8 chickens. I'm going to show them all to you guys today, and I'm going to kind of talk through what we did, how we got started, and where we are today. We started out at Tractor Supply and got 4 little chickens. We got the 4 golden sex-link breed pullet chickens. For those of you who don't know, pullet is a female chicken who is still kind of underage and hasn't really started laying eggs yet for them to be called a hen. So we bought these 4 chickens believing they would be girls because our goal for our chickens is to raise a little flock of egg-laying hens. We're going to use these chickens to help with our yard, help with our compost, as well as use the eggs to help feed the family and neighbors around us. So we picked out these 4 lovely little ladies and brought them home to put them in what is called a brooder. A brooder box is where you would put a baby chick to help keep warm and to learn and grow before they can go out into the coop. They can't go out into the coop just yet because they don't have their adult feathers. The adult feathers is what helps them regulate their temperature. So originally I was going to build a brooder box kind of like this out of like some scrap wood and some chicken wire, but I decided I wanted to be able to take this brooder box apart and store it away since I really don't have that much space left in my garage. So I had this little plastic baby pool aside from the dogs that they used to go swimming, and we made a kind of makeshift lid just made out of some chicken wire cut into a circular shape, just kind of nailed and stapled to some 2x4s to give it some structure and kind of a handle for me to lift. I use that on top of the baby pool as a lid so that 1, no predators or critters could get in, and 2, so the chickens can't jump out. In the beginning of their brooder process, they were too little to start flying and jumping just quite yet, so this was a temporary solution until I was able to figure out what I wanted to do for their brooder box. I did put in their food and watering system. I got these systems from a chick starter set that I bought at Tractor Supply. I will link it down below if you guys are interested. I did end up getting this brooder plate as their original heat source. The brooder plate has its ups and downs. I did like it because 1, it's a more safer heat source. It's closer to the ground, not as much of a fire hazard, and the chicks can go under it and it kind of simulates what it's like to be underneath the mother hen when they want to feel safe. The downside of this is I can only make it go so high on the feet that it came with, and it takes up a lot of space in their brooder box, which I felt their brooder area was already small enough. So I ended up switching to the heat lamp, which came with my chick starter set, and we had attached it to this bar so that we are able to raise and lower it as needed while our chicks adjust to the temperature. We also bought a outdoor thermometer to put inside the brooder box so that we know how hot it is for the chicks inside their brooder. So you have your textbook guidelines of your basic temperatures of where it should be for your chicks based on their age, but also you just kind of want to watch your chickens on how close are they to the heat source versus how far away. If they're too close, and if they're right up on that heat source and all huddled together, they are most likely too cold. If they are as far as possible away from the heat source and spread out, they're most likely too hot. So you have to adjust your heat source accordingly, either by moving the heat lamp away or up higher, etc. So before we had bought our golden sex lynx chickens, while I was doing my research, I had decided that I really wanted a black and white kind of speckled hen. And that was kind of like what my heart was set on. When we went to Tractor Supply and found these chicks, they were fine. I had no problem with them not being black and white speckled. They were beautiful as just how they are. I still love them. I just really wanted that black and white. Well, the next day, Tractor Supply got in a shipment of black Morans. So I had to convince my husband to let me go get more, since there is a minimum purchase of 4 chicks per agricultural law, at least in my state, or where I was buying these chicks from. So after some convincing, my husband did say I could get 2 more chicks, but however, because of the law, I could not buy them from Tractor Supply. So I actually ended up getting in contact with a chick breeder who had some black cuckoo Morans. So they are 1 or 2 days younger than my golden sex link here, my golden girls. But they are doing quite well, and since they're so close in age, I was able to put these guys in the same brooder box and they get along just fine. Now that I had 8 chicks in my possession, I definitely needed to get a bigger solution for the brooder, since this baby pool was only temporary and it was small enough to begin with. So we ended up getting this pop-up pet carrier, pet playpen. This guy, it's made out of mesh on the doors, so there's plenty of ventilation and air to get in, and it has a removable top as well as a door in the side. It's just on the other side over here at the moment. I have it so that I can do easy access to get the chicks over there. And it's great because this guy can open and close, and I can reach in and get the chicks food, water, and things like that. So I will put a link to this guy down below in the description if you guys are interested. And since I wasn't 100% sure if it was waterproof versus resistant, or if the chicks got a hole in it, I did put it inside of the baby pool just as an extra layer of protection. So now these guys have plenty of room to jump around, flutter their wings, and run around as they get bigger. So I am using the deep litter method for my chicks, as well as when they're older and they're hens in their big old coop. The deep litter method basically is, instead of changing out their bedding every single day, every other day, you just it's a layer system. What you do is you put down your initial bedding layer. I use pine shavings for mine, and let your chicks do the work. They run around, they do their thing, and of course, chickens poop. That's what they do. And they dig and scratch and kind of roll around, and they decompose and break down those pine shavings kind of by themselves. And then every few days or so, for these chicks, just because their brooder is the size it is, every few days, or if it starts to smell, I will add some more shavings on top of it to help with the odor and give them a new layer. And those things will break down and kind of compost themselves. Now, I am new to chickens. This is the first time raising chickens, so I'm sure some chickens enthusiasts in the comments are going to have their own opinions and things like that. I am learning. I'm trying things out, trial and error. I'm open to suggestions, but please keep it positive in the comments. And this is Nova. Everybody say hi to Nova. She is my husband and I's dog. She was named after the supernova, just because my husband does work with space and SpaceX and a lot of satellites and things like that. So we wanted a space name and we named her Nova. She is almost 5 years old now, but I do let her come out with me to see the chicks because eventually they will be sharing the same yard together. So I want them to get to know each other and to get used to each other. We're also working on training so that if Nova is too interested in the chickens and I need her attention back to me, she will come when I call her. So we're working on that right now. My other dog, DeSoto, currently really isn't showing a whole lot of interest in the chickens. I think it's because they're in this container. So it might be a different story once they start ranging on their own in their run or in the yard. I also take out this little temperature sensor and clean it off because they do poop on it, of course. My Kookamarans in particular like to sit on top of it. So I just clean it off every once in a while, get the poop off. I don't try to get it super clean, but to do that, I just get a little bit of water, a paper towel, and just kind of wipe it off. And I did end up transitioning these chicks to a different watering system. This is kind of a little pecking nipple system. Basically what they'll do is come up and just peck at the little silver part here on the bottom, and water comes out. I decided to go with this system over the initial open water tray just because, one, when chicks are little, there is a drowning risk, and two, I was tired of pulling wood shavings out of the little tray. So I decided to go with this system instead. It's able to hold more water and it is a little bit cleaner. My husband and I built this little tray for it to sit on just so it's elevated. The trade-off is I do have to scrape the poop every once in a while off of this thing, but I'd rather do that with this little cat litter box cleaner, litter box scoop, instead of having to reach in with my fingers and get the dirty, wet poop and cedar out of the water tray. So for their feeder, I still do use the original little feeder that came with my chicken chick starter set. It's this open-ended little feeder. It also came with a different feeder. I'll show it to you guys in a second. That's kind of like an open tray system almost. But I still like this one. It holds more food in my opinion. And just every day, about twice a day, I'll come out here and just pull out the cedar that they kick up into it just so more food can flow a little bit. And I actually filled this up yesterday. And it's already 3/4 of the way empty, so we are gonna fill this back up. So I use just basic chick food. It's crumbled to make it a little bit easier for them to eat. I got it also at Tractor Supply. Almost everything I got is from Tractor Supply other than this, other than the playpen and the drip water system. I'm sure they have something similar at Tractor Supply, I just didn't get it from there. But with chicks, I'm just using the crumbled system with a high content of protein just to help them grow. Once they're old enough, I will switch them to a high calcium food so that they can have strong eggshells. I do also mix grit into their food. Since these guys are in a brooder box and they're not foraging out in the wild of my backyard yet, they do need supplied grit. I do mix it into their food just to help them out. Chickens, for those of you who don't know, have a gizzard, much like a turkey, and they digest food differently than we do. They use what we call grit. They eat small rocks, basically, and those rocks help grind up that food for them to digest. Yeah, it's just basically, leave it, just little small rocks. So I just go ahead and stick this back in. We'll see how fast they come over. They're a little scared right now, just because Nova's out here and I'm making a lot of noise filming for you guys. But I also like to take a little bit of the chicken food. See, Nova's over there sniffing out. Leave it. Nova, leave it. Good girl. There we go. Here, go ahead and checking out the food. I also like to take a little bit of the food and just kind of sprinkle it over in the cedar or the bedding. I always call it cedar. It's not cedar, it's pine. over there just so they can dig and kind of fake forage for it a little bit. I also put in this tree branch for them a little while ago just so they could start working on their climbing and roosting a little bit. So far, about only 2 of them really use it. My suspicion is that those 2 are actually roosters, but we shall see, because supposedly, oh, these are girls, but baby chicks are very hard to sex. There they go. Just kind of foraging. And they do kind of kick it around and stir it up, so. What you doing? Look at some food. Yeah, so this is the temperature system I use. It's lacrosse, but it has that white brick you guys saw earlier in the coop, and that is this quote-unquote outdoor setting, telling me the coop is 86 degrees Fahrenheit with a 69% humidity. And this is the indoor, so it's gonna be wherever the unit itself is sitting. Right now it says 82 because we just came in from a garage, which is nice and toasty warm because of the chicks' heater. But that'll come down probably to like 70 in a few minutes. So a little bit closer look up at the watering system. I'm using the Rent-A-Coop little dribble system, nipple drink system. But basically it's got this little metal piece here and the chicks just peck and water comes out for them. It also has this little door here for you to easily refill it. Every day or so, you're probably supposed to do this daily, but you can see how much they drank in a day. I usually fill it up to the R, the top of the R, and it's only down so far. But about every other day or so, I will refill this with fresh water, and once it's got that cold fresh water in, they usually just swarm. Another thing I like to do every day is get them hands-on, pick them up. 1, so they get used to me touching them and handling them. 2, so I can make sure they're doing well, healthy, growing well, and there's nothing sick going on. And 3, so that they can get used to the dogs that I have. So I have usually Nova out here with me. I'll hold the chick at a distance and Nova, just so they can see each other. Nova can sniff the chick and get used to one another. The chicks do usually cry out. They are a little scared, but this is like a transitional process for all of us, for the dog, for the chickie, and for me. So I'll go ahead and pick one of my lovely little ladies. Hey, baby. Okay. Hi. Nova, wait, sit. Okay, so I do have Nova here and my little chickie. Sit. And we just kind of easy. Easy, that's enough. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Easy. Leave it. Good girl. There she is. She is about, this is my little white girl. I call her, that's kind of funny. Hang on, you're all right. We usually check out her feathers while I have her. She's doing great. I check out her vent, which is her bottom. Nova, you need to wait. Sit. I also have all of my chickies tagged. This is actually a bread tie. It was white. Just so I can tell the difference, and they're nice and loose on their foot, so they have room to grow, and I can change the size if I need to. But yeah, you're doing good. Yeah, but I'll do this with all my chicks, make sure they're doing good. I have one chick in particular that I'm looking for who has been a little sick. Sit. This is one of my Cuckoo Morans. She is black with a little bit of white on her head. She's just not growing. You need to leave it. Is just not growing as well as the rest of her siblings. Her wings are doing great. They do have this gap kind of right here between their primary and secondary feathers. But she's had what's called pasty butt. It's a little chick illness. Basically, their poop just kind of gets stuck to their bottom and chicks can actually die from it. Basically, it'll block off her vent and she'll cut, like, basically the pipe is clogged. So nothing can go in, nothing can come out, and chicks actually can die from it. So I've just kind of been keeping an eye on her. I'll clean her off every once in a while and do a little bit of ointment just to help relieve any pain and hopefully get things to slide a little bit easier. But she's doing good so far. Yeah. Didn't that sound just make you so happy? Okay. Yeah, but I'll have to clean her a little bit again, most likely tonight, because I do see some more getting stuck to her. So we'll have to keep an eye on her. And when I go to pick them up, I just kind of, they do get scared. It's normal for them to get scared, but I come at them from this side. It's a little less threatening. And just kind of scoop them up right up under their legs. Say hi, pretty girl. Focus camera. There we go. Good girl. So beautiful, beautiful. You're just so pretty. This is my little pink girl. She's got a pink tag on her foot. Focus camera. There you go. Little pink tag on her foot. I just made these out of little pipe cleaners and bread ties, as you saw in the last one. Or not the last one, but the last golden sex link. None of these guys have names yet. I'm kind of waiting on, one, their personalities to come out, but two, as their feathers come in, I can be able to identify them a little bit easier. I'm also worried that some of these will end up being roosters despite them being sold as pullets. That's just the chance of the lottery you get when you buy little baby chicks. But they're all over there huddling together. It looks like they're gonna get ready for a nap. We are underneath the heat source, so they're probably a little cold because I was just messing with them and took them out of the heat. So they're gonna kind of huddle together and take a little nap because we just had a whole bunch of excitement. So yeah, that's kind of what I do with the chickies on a daily basis so far, and that's kind of where they're at. They're a little over a week old as we speak. I will throw some pictures up for you guys to see kind of where they were at exactly 1 week old as compared to when they were a day old. I didn't take any pictures when they were a day old. I don't know why, but I do have a little video. I'll try to put it up over here for you guys. If not, you can find it on my Instagram. And I will try to keep you guys updated on their growth down there. For the coop, we are building it ourselves. I designed it myself based on what I've seen from Carolina coops as well as other YouTubers. I will put links to their videos down in the description below. Those kind of inspired my design. Our coop is going to be a 6x4x6 size coop. Per my HOA, I can't let it be any taller than 6 feet. So it's going to be up off the ground about a foot, foot and a half, and then the rest of it's going to be coop with a little slanted roof. And it will have a nesting box on the back as well as a access door on the side for me to get in, clean out all the bedding. I will be using the deep litter method, so it does need to have a good amount of space for the litter to accumulate, and I do need access to be able to sweep it all out and clean it. But right now the coop is in process. My plans have been approved by the HOA, so we have started building. We have all the framework done. Now we just need to start putting up walls and insulation. We're gonna take it outside, start actually putting it all together, give it a nice coat of paint. And by the time that is all finished, my chickies should be ready to start transitioning to the outside world. Yeah guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you give it a big old thumbs up. Or if you want to say hi to Nova and to Soto, make sure you hit that thumbs up as well. Thank you. I am looking for name suggestions, so please throw that down in the comments below. Right now I'm kind of leaning towards funny and silly names that are chicken puns. So I have thought of quite a few, but I'm always open to suggestions, and sometimes people know that you're loud. And sometimes people are just a lot funnier and punnier than I am. So throw your name suggestions down in the description below, and I will see you guys for another video. Bye! Hey, come here. Come here.